So you guys say my yo is getting weak, huh? I'll give you a yo. Yo, how are you all doing? Today's video is going to be something special, let me explain. So, I uploaded my previous video Wednesday when it should have been uploaded previous week. So, I wanted to do an extra video this week, but I didn't have a lot of time. So I was like, oh, I need to make a quick video. And then I found these notes on my computer for a video I was planning to make called 10 things I wish I knew when I started cubing. Now, I don't know when I made this list, but I totally forgot about it. So I thought, you know, let's just go over the list, talk about it, because the points are actually really good. Like, I really wish I knew those things when I started cubing. So I'm just gonna share them with you. I haven't prepared anything, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but let's just get started with the first point, and that is cubing is super addictive. Get ready to waste a whole lot of time. Like, when I started cubing, I never imagined me to spend hours upon hours just twisting this puzzle, right? But you will. And you can actually scientifically explain why cubing is addictive. Like, I read this book once called Hooked, which basically talks about how companies make their products, like apps and websites, as addictive as possible. Like, it's not a coincidence that you spend hours on Instagram, you know, it's programmed that way. And actually, when I was reading this, some of the points in the book actually totally apply to cubing. I'll give you one example because I don't want this to be too long. Implementing some randomness in apps. For example, when you scroll down on Instagram, you never know what's going to be there. You know, you never know, oh, maybe I'll see a very cute dog when I scroll down. Like, the same thing applies to cubing. Like, you've done your solve, you want to quit, but you're like, but who knows, the next scramble might be PB solve. You know, the next scramble might be the best scramble I've ever gotten. Or maybe I would get a PLL skip. Or maybe the next solve I will do a triple extras. You know, you never know what's going to happen the next solve, and that's one of the things that makes it very addictive. Now, the second point on the list is you gotta keep learning, and that is so true. Like, because cubing is so addictive, it can be very tempting to just sit behind your computer, open CS timer, and cube for hours upon hours until you cannot think anymore. But I found after all these years, by the way, I've been cubing for 5 or 6 years, just so you know. I found out after all these years that the most enjoyable thing, the most rewarding thing is to actually learn new things. It being new algorithms or different ways to solve F2L pairs or using your lefty moves more. Like, applying those things in solves is the most rewarding thing. Like, the first time you actually get a good time with a new technique you learned is the most enjoyable thing. So I would say that even if you're really fast, even if you think you got your basics right, always try to learn more. The third thing on the list is stop comparing yourself with other people. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Stop comparing yourself. Like, your neighbor who has been cubing for 3 weeks and is sub 8, don't listen to him. Now, in all honesty, like, this is your own journey, and it doesn't really matter to compare yourself with other people. Like, I see these comments all the time, like, oh, I've been cubing for 6 months and I average sub 30. Is this good? Well, I've been cubing for 6 months and I average sub 10. So, no, you're not good. Like, stop that bullshit. It's all about you. It's how you enjoy it, how you want to do it. And of course you want to improve, but it only makes sense to compare your own times with yourself a month ago. If someone else improves faster, good for them. Just focus on yourself. Number 4, do multiple events. And when I started out cubing, I just did 3x3 for like 3 years. I think what made me to do other events was when I went to the World Championships in Paris 2016, I think it was, or 2017. There was this friend of mine and who was like, oh, can you solve a 4x4? I was averaging around 11 seconds on 3x3, by the way. And he was like, can you solve a 4x4? And I was like, yeah, sure, I just don't practice it often. And he made me do it, and it took me like 2 minutes or something like that to just finish the centers, because I never practiced it. And he started to laugh at me. He was like, oh, he solves a 3x3 in 11 seconds and he can't even solve a 4x4. And I remember like Matt's Falk just sitting there like a few meters from me, and he heard that, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh no, come on, don't do that. So yeah, I was really bad at 4x4. After that, I actually started to do more 4x4, one-handed as well, some 2x2. So I just added a few events there. All I know is that it is very enjoyable to do multiple events. Like, even if you're bored of 3x3 at a certain point, just grab your 4x4 and keep cubing. Like, never stop cubing. Now, number 5 on the list is, it's not your cube that sucks, it is you. And what I mean by that is that most cubes that come out these days, being the GAN 11M Pro, or on the other hand, the RS3M 2020, Most new cubes out there are really good. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that whatever cube you own, it being a respected cube, because if you just have a garbage cube, then obviously you should get yourself a new cube. But if you have a good cube, give it a chance. Adjust to it before buying a brand new cube that just came out. Because I see it all the time. Like a new cube comes out, the GAN 12M Pro Elite Power Max, and you know, everyone's like,
oh, I gotta have that cube.
But do you really? It's cool to have new things, but it won't buy you better times. So number 6, I had to reshoot this one because my microphone wasn't recording, but it is understand what you're doing. I think I can best explain this one with a little skit. Damn, you can solve that Rubik's Cube fast. Thank you. Can you show me how you do it? Show you how I do it? Yeah, show me. Okay, so you just do this. Okay. And then you do this. And then you hit him with the sexy move. And then bam, it's solved. Bro, do you have any idea what you're doing? Yeah. Well, it seems like you've just memorized everything. So understand what you're doing, not only because you won't look like an idiot, but I would also say that it is more enjoyable to actually know what you're doing. You know the feeling when you're trying to learn something difficult and then suddenly you're like, aha, this is how it works? That's just really satisfying, right? The next point is color neutral. I just wrote down color neutral, but I think the advice I'm trying to give is that if you can be color neutral, just do it. And that sounds easy coming from me, but I became color neutral when I was averaging 11 seconds. And oh boy, did it take a long time before I actually got better being color neutral. I think it took like half a year, probably longer than that, to get adjusted to being color neutral. When you're just starting out, it's almost no extra effort to switch up your cross solutions, like to have different cross colors. The more adjusted you get to your cross color, the more you do, for example, a white cross all the time, the more used you get to it and the more difficult it will be to switch to color neutrality later on. So if you want to be color neutral, like probably do it because it gives you more freedom, it gives you more possibilities, and I really like the freedom you have when you're color neutral. Now the next point is kind of difficult in these times, and that is go to competitions. There's plenty of reasons why you want to go to competitions. First of all, cubing is usually a very lonely, solitary thing. I mean, and usually you're just cubing on your own, and not to diss the cubing community, but it's not that big yet. Like there's not millions of people in the world cubing. We'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there. But if you want to find some cubing friends, the best place you can go to is cubing competition. Like I remember going to my first cubing competition. I didn't know anyone who cubed except for my nephew. And over there, I met a lot of people and they turned out to be pretty cool. I'm still friends with a lot of them. And it's also cool to have like a recording of your official solves. The last point is do your AUF. This is something that I postponed for so long. I learned full PLL when I was averaging like 30 seconds, I think. But I thought, you know, if my PLL is solved, the cube is solved, while I still have a +2 basically. So what I would do a lot of times is just don't care about the +2s. But then when I had my first competition, I was getting +2s all the time. So I realized, you know, AUFing is kind of important. It's also not that difficult to actually learn AUF. Like all you need to do is have a reference point on your PLL where you know that after I solve this PLL, this color will face me or this color will be there, so that you know even when you're doing your PLL which U move you will have to do at the end. It's so simple, but I didn't care about +2s. You should care about +2s, so do your AUFing. Now, apparently I wrote down 9 points. Like I cannot count. Like I made this list, 10 things I wish I knew, but I wrote down 9 things. So the 10th thing I wish I knew when I started cubing. I got a great one, probably the most important on the list. The thing I wish I knew when I started cubing was